Welcome back, all you beautiful souls, to another episode of Aligned and Alive. I'm your host, Chrissy May, and today I'm keeping it simple and even a little vulnerable. If you have experienced moments in your life when things don't go as planned and life throws you a curveball, then stick around for this episode. I'm going to provide you with a formula that has allowed me to develop a way to navigate the unexpected with grace. The deeper I dive into my own inner work and self mastery, the easier it is to overcome moments of what the heck just happened. Yes, yes, yes. You have all heard me say it before countless times on this podcast. There is a lesson to be learned in all challenges and heartbreak. Yet, when you are in the moment, it's not always easy to grasp. When you are feeling pain, frustration, hurt, sadness, or even that sick to your stomach feeling, that is what we experience in the moment. It is our nervous system going on a roller coaster ride, and we want off. Get me off this not so pleasurable experience. I happen to hold a PhD of life experience in this arena, and one I navigate now much different than years prior. When things don't go as planned, it can be frustrating, disappointing, and even stressful. However, it's important to remember that setbacks and unexpected events are a natural part of life. You can view it in many ways. I align with the understanding that God is knocking on the door, trying to grab my attention in an area of my life where change needs to happen. Whatever perspective you choose to hold, ultimately, we have two choices: react or respond. Let me first define the difference between the two. Reacting is meeting one action with another. It's immediate, rash, and typically comes from panic mode. Responding, on the other hand, is considerate and deliberate. It allows you to process, plan, and even an opportunity to proceed if necessary. The growth equation elaborates further on this in navigating those emotions that come up. In a series of studies out of UCLA, researchers subjected participants to unplanned and distressing situations, such as giving impromptu speeches in front of strangers. Half the participants were instructed to label their emotions. For instance, I feel tightness in my chest. I feel angst in my throat, or I feel heat in my palms. The other half were not instructed to do anything special at all. The participants who felt and labeled their emotions, what researchers call affect labeling, had significantly less stress and felt more at ease during their speeches. While it might seem that owning your insecurity would give it more power, it's actually just the opposite. When you identify your emotions, especially the negative ones, it lessens the likelihood that the emotion will control you. It switches you out of being fused with your emotion, which is the reaction mode, and into a more thoughtful state, which is responsive mode. Here is a simple formula that has served me well through this process. Number one, pause. The power of the pause is your new BFF, and one you should never live without. Always take a moment to pause when crap hits the fan. If you just received some nasty or hurtful text, someone blew up the project you were working on, you just got fired, not hired, a breakup, whatever the case may be, simply pause. Hmm. It feels so good. You are consciously choosing a higher vibrational frequency that will most likely serve you rather than firing energetic rounds of ammunition back. Number two, moving into the second phase. This is an opportunity to feel every emotion. Allow it to come up so you can feel it and move through it. Begin labeling your emotions. As in the study I just mentioned, affect labeling is an effective way to navigate this process. Number three, now it's time to ignite all of those skill sets you have learned, to tap into those spiritual modalities and practices. This is why integration is key. It allows you to show up in ways you never thought possible. It provides you a foundation that now is serving you when you need it the most. Create an intentional plan on how to move forward. Search for the solution. Keyword, the solution, rather than focusing on the quote unquote problem at hand. Number four, and finally, if needed, you can now move forward and take action by responding. You have now created a few degrees of freedom between a deeper and more stable sense of self and the ever changing current of life. I have used this process time and time again, and most recently had to set it in motion this past month with many situations that occurred in my life personally and professionally. One of the biggest takeaways during my monthly reflection for September is to speak my truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if your knees get weak, even if your face turns flush, even if you just want to throw up, speak your truth, friends. I have been working on this for a lifetime, it seems. This year has been my biggest growth year to date, no doubt. And it didn't come without a lot of the feelings I just mentioned, all that uneasiness. When I got recertified as a Reiki master practitioner this past month, it was an even louder reminder to me while experiencing blockages in my throat chakra. During working sessions and attunements, the more we suppress our feelings and emotions, the heavier our energy field becomes. And of course, the pathway for additional dis-ease in the body will occur. So I went to work, as I always do. I've been working with a trauma release timeline facilitator whose name is Sandra Rolas. She's an incredibly beautiful soul, and I'm so grateful that we met. And of course, my beautiful Reiki master teacher, Jenna Di Giuseppe. I began releasing and opening up in ways I never thought possible while becoming extremely intentional on how I choose to proceed in all areas of my life. The conversations I am having are much different than before. The way I am choosing to honor myself in business and personal relationships all have shifted due to me finally speaking my truth. So, when things don't go as planned, you don't have to expect the worst. You have all the tools available in order to shift the energy in any situation. You have the power within to change the narrative, to show up for yourself, to commit to a daily practice that will allow you the space and freedom to fully live a big, bold, and beautiful life while riding the waves off into the sunset. I will leave you with this. What can you do today, right now that will pop you back into a healthier way of being. Maybe you are stuck in the muck from something that went south in your life. Maybe you can relate to what I have been suppressing for far too long, my voice and speaking my truth. I can offer this advice that I gave to a client last week. Everything in our lives will keep falling apart until we figure out why and what we need to do to interrupt the pattern. You see, life is a mirror. It will show you where you are every day simply by mirroring back to you. Just as relationships can be our greatest teachers by bringing out the best and worst in us, our lives are reflections of our inner worlds and can show us hidden parts of us that we need to work on. When we become aware that our problems are lessons, we have the opportunity to find out what they're showing us about ourselves. For instance, if we feel judged by others, we may be judging someone else or ourselves. When someone is lying to us, there may be a way that we are lying to ourselves. If we feel others are being irresponsible, we may be irresponsible in work, taking care of ourselves, or making a tough decision. And finally, if we feel others just aren't listening to us, maybe we are not listening to them or our inner self. Are you allowing others to steer the direction of your life? Are you allowing the projections of others to control or manipulate you? The fear-mongering, abuse, whatever it is, all comes back to you. And I say that with such love because I had to face that harsh truth many years ago. It's up to us to change the narrative. How are you now in the present moment going to respond to what life is showing you? Process the pain and make a plan. Staying stagnant stifles growth. Use the unexpected as an opportunity for your own personal growth and development. I would love to connect with you deeper. So please join my private community by texting 480-637-2228. It's free. You will receive health tips, mindset hacks, manifesting tools, special access to all private events and retreats, and so much more. Also, if you are seeking one-on-one coaching, Reiki and sound healing, or need a quick reset in Sedona, sounds lovely, doesn't it? At one of my mini day retreats, just head on over to chrissymay.com for complete info and to schedule. And lastly, preparations are already underway for our next live event in Phoenix, Arizona. Woo! I cannot wait. This one will be bigger and even better than the last one. I'm finalizing our guest panel and rolling out the red carpet. So buckle up, buttercups. Text the word live right now, or just click the link in the show notes and you will be the very first to reserve your ticket at early bird pricing. Make it a beautiful and prosperous day, friends. Much love.